Woodson abandons ship as the Hoosiers get trounced at the Target Center. Let's talk about the game right here.
1 for 3 on the way. Oh!
Hello, guys, and thank you once again for joining me on Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for being part of this Indiana Hoosiers community and Colts community on here. We have a lot of stuff to talk about on the show today. Indiana exits the season. They will not play in the NIT. They just announced that as well this morning, and just not the way you really want to see it go down. Get beat a third time by Nebraska in a very bad way. We'll talk about the game, how the game kind of went, and how it really, once it got going, it was predictable what was going to happen. And it was just an awful watch. I was really hoping that the Hoosiers could come through in some way and make some adjustment to... They pretty much bodied up Ware the entire time, and they double team everybody down low in a way that made it really difficult for the Hoosiers. But we'll get into all that and more on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. But if this is your first time here, thank you so much for being here and being part of this Hoosiers and Colts community. Leave a comment down below. This is where the most passionate Indiana Hoosiers fans and Colts fans come to talk about the games. We have a great time talking in the comment section, so leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from all of you. I do want to make a correction. I've never removed any subscribers. I know I misspoke in my last episode and said I will remove your comment if it is just, really attacking one person or the other. That's all I was saying. But join the community. We have a lot of great discussions about the team, and we're going to talk about what Mike Woodson said in the press conference afterwards as well, because always a little bit of some head-scratching things coming out of Mike Woodson's mouth. Join the rocket ship, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button so that we get the video out to more Hoosiers around the country and around the world. We got people watching this in Australia, in the United Kingdom, like all over the place. So subscribe to the channel. It's a great way to connect with fans all over the globe. And let's get into talking about what happened yesterday with the Indiana Hoosiers. All right, so what were you really thinking coming into this game? Because when I was really, I think Indiana would have had a better chance to beat Illinois today. Part of why they got beaten so badly is style of play, and I can see a lot of that is true. The first 10 minutes of the game or so, we really kind of hung in there, and you're just kind of waiting. When is Tominaga gonna start hitting some shots? And then sure enough, Johnny on the spot. I mean, he hit a couple of shots with Xavier Johnson right in his face. Just really tough shot. Great kid to watch. I mean, honestly, the way he plays the game, the way he shoots the ball, I mean, it looks effortless for him, and it's just really fun to watch once you get it out of your head that he's just really beating your team so badly. But Indiana had no answers anywhere, and I don't know if this is they're playing 2 games in a row, because I didn't make a video after they beat Penn State, but that was huge to win that game and huge for Anthony Leal to get that putback back in. Coming into this game, we knew it was going to be a mismatch. We practically knew what it was going to be. I felt like the game really took a turn at about the 12-minute mark. One guy from Nebraska that he hit 4 of 4 3-pointers in the game. I mean, he just stepped back, really was kind of just took a long 3 away from the defense and buried it, and it was just on from there as well. Indiana did not score a field goal. I was looking at these advanced metric or stats. They did not score a field goal from 10:25 till the end of the first half, which is amazing. 13 of 13 from the free throw line, which is absolutely amazing as well. Save it for your last game to not miss any free throws. We've been looking for that all year. And then CJ Gunn came in late during garbage time and he hit a bunch of shots and really took advantage of that. So this game leaves a ton of question marks for Indiana going forward. And going forward, that is what a lot of the shows are going to be about, is about who we are going to get in the transfer portal. But Mike Woodson, he had this to say in the press conference afterwards, and I just thought, head scratching. I mean, a little bit, because, well, this is what he said.
Well, again, I mean, it's too early right now to even entertain that question. The bottom line is we got to get better. from a talent standpoint. And this summer will be spent watching a lot of film on players, and because we're going to lose some players, I'm sure, and we just got a lot of work to do this summer to get better. I don't want to sit here this time next year and not be playing in the tournament.
So first of all, you don't have all summer to look for transfers. You have, and I didn't know this exactly off the top of my head, but I'll tell you what, if I was making $4 million a year, I would know these dates by heart. The transfer portal goes from March 18th until May 1st. So there is not all summer. We are going to know who is going to come to Indiana in the transfer portal in the next few weeks. I mean, it's like the season's going to end. You really are going to have really the last few weeks of April to get transfers from teams that are going to play deep into the tournament. So, I mean, you really got to get on your high horse now. I would think what the team really has to do with this transfer portal situation, we have to get like 5 guards. We really do. We have to get 5 like high level guards. He said something else in the press conference afterwards that I thought was head scratching as well. Play that clip.
And we're going to have to build around the core guys that are coming back. So
saying you're just going to build around the pieces that you have, I really believe we have to upgrade drastically. Galloway is okay, but he is not a natural like point guard position player. I think his natural position is more like being at the 3 spot, and being more of a wing player that can drive off of the edge. I really think where Mbako was this year at times, where he was on the wing a lot more driving, was where Galloway naturally should be, driving from that position with his good kick out passes. Well, I don't think Mike Woodson sees a way where you can play in college basketball. You can play like 3 guards many times. Cups will probably come back. He's most likely coming back. And then you're going to need some more guards. You can't keep running this out there again. That's really what I think our main objective. So, I mean, there's going to be tons of guys, but a guy, AJ Storr and a Sejan from Wisconsin, we could get those guys. There are tons of guys on Arkansas. I'm looking at a bunch of these teams this morning, like where you can go get guys. But this coaching staff needs to really make a big board like they do in the NFL and be like, these guys are going to fit into the system. I want to tell you what, none of what I just said is going to happen at all with this team. We're going to probably go out there and go look for another 7-footer to center the team around and some other big guys, and we'll probably go back out there with Galloway and Leal as our guards next year, and maybe he'll be able to get some mid-major guards to come to Indiana that maybe will be a surprise. But the reason why I say that is, look, CJ Gunn has been on this team for 2 years. We have practically seen no development out of him. He got some points 2 times in a garbage time game against Purdue and a garbage time game against Nebraska last night. Or other than that, he has not played or developed really at all as a shooter or anything on this team. So how do we expect that it's going to change going forward? And I'm not saying fire the coach. I'm saying this coaching staff, if they go out there and they go get the same type of players and they play the same type of basketball next year, we are going to see the same type of result. We need to change what we are doing out there. And I get tons of people arguing in the comments, arguing about criticizing the coach and that. I love Indiana basketball. I'm not some rogue person that hates the team or something like that. Like, I live right here in Huntertown, Indiana. I watch all the games. I've watched all the games since I was like 5 or 6 years old, and I'm always going to be a huge IU fan, and I want to see what's best for the team. I feel like our style of play has to change. We have to get some more guards in there. And the reason why Galloway to me doesn't work as a starting guard on this team is his unwillingness to really take shots from the outside. Jalen Hood-Schifino, we saw how better we could be with a guy who could actually create his own shot at times. And he had his ups and downs, just like any first year player is going to be. But you need about 2 or 3 guys at least to start, but really about 4 guards kind of that play a style like that on your team that can come off the bench and get their own shot a little bit, or they're just willing to shoot when they're open and they can run things to get that guy an open shot. Will we see the team change going forward and have a different approach? That's all going to be up to Mike Woodson. If we go run out there next year, we play the same style, we bring in some more big guys, we play this more, don't shoot, like just shoot limited 3-pointers, only shoot them when you're completely wide open, you just feel like taking it. If we go out there and play that style next year, we can't really expect that the results are going to be much different. The game's not played inside out in college, it's played outside in. You got to shoot from the outside, and then your big guy down low has to be able to find people, open shooters, when the double teams come. And that was one thing. The double team came in this game on Ware and Renew. I will say, Renew, I don't really know what kind of a building block piece that he is. I will say this. When you go get these transfer portal guys, they absolutely do not have any interest in Indiana basketball whatsoever. I thought one of the comments that Renew made after the game, and maybe this is me just jumping all over him, but he, in the comments after the game, he said, and I'm not going to play the clip, but he said, like, I got to go back and talk to my people and see what they see. That's what it is these days. These kids are playing college basketball. They're getting paid 6 figures. They have a lot of people behind them, their mom, their dad, everybody. That's why I played that clip of Nick Saban talking about how awful it is coaching in college right now. So in some ways, I can see where Mike Woodson, it's hard to find these guys because you really do have to have like a grassroots campaign out there looking for people that really want to play Indiana basketball that live in the state of Indiana. If not, we almost have, I don't know what they are. They're almost like asylum seekers or something, they'll leave one team and go to another, but it's really not all about the team. It's really about what can you do for them. I mean, then one great president say, don't ask what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. So don't ask what Indiana basketball can do for you, ask what you can do for Indiana basketball. We have everything set up here. You will get paid big money, but that's not what it's all about. It's about the passion of the game, and it's about the passion of the players that they have to play for the university and be a part of really a great tradition that we've built here. And we still have great tradition at Indiana. We have so many, the candy striped pants, Martha the Mop Lady. You just walk through Assembly Hall and you see it everywhere, all over the walls, everywhere. We're going to have a lot more to talk about with the transfer portal, and maybe talk about, there wasn't much to break down in this Nebraska game. It was pretty much on like Donkey Kong. I feel disappointed with Mike Woodson because how he got kicked out of the game, it was almost like by the time the camera got to him, he was already almost by the exit. It was like, I've never seen a guy get ejected in that way. It's like, I think he just went up to the ref. He's like, anybody ever tell you look like a penis with a little hat on? He's like, well, you're gone. I mean, all you got to do is say 2 words, and he abandoned ship. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have wanted to have been sitting in there either watching these guys get trounced over the next few minutes. But he left. He said some really head-scratching things in the press conference afterwards, and it makes me think, I mean, they got to get on this transfer stuff like today. You should be having like almost like all-night sessions. And if the assistant coaches can't entice or bring in any type of like high-level guards, at least to this program, so we have some good guards next year, it's just going to be rough going. And I mean, I hope in these next few weeks we see some changes out of the team. I also want to make this comment, like, because so many people have say like, well, the team had this big turnaround. One of the big reasons why this team did have a big turnaround is the coach started kind of listening to the fans. In most cases, you would say the coach should not listen to the fans, but so many people complained about you cannot take like 4 or 5 players out of the game at the 14-minute mark. If you notice, Mike Woodson stopped doing that about 4 or 5 weeks ago. He stopped doing like these big hockey changeovers where you're going to have like the whole team go out and it's just like Peyton Sparks is going to play center for 5 minutes and we're just going to completely lose the game because of how we're going to deal with our rotations. And that was a big reason why the team got better. He went to a shorter lineup in a lot of these games, and he did more of how college coaches do it Because what he was doing before is exactly how they do it in the NBA. It's like you're just going to go out, you play this kind of a schedule every single night, and all the players know it. It's not done that way in college. You got to just kind of like push the right buttons, pull the right strings, get the guys to do the right things that you want them to do. We're going to have a lot of stuff to look forward to in the transfer portal, and we will be watching Woody to see what him and the assistant coaches are up to so that we can hopefully improve this going into next year. That would be great to see. Thank you so much for joining me on Indiana Sports Connection. Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosiers and Colts fans.
Loaded up and trucking. Are we going to do what they say can't be done?